Welcome back. Everyone loves to hate the umps or the refs. They're constantly blamed for wrongly determining the outcome of games. But we all know we still need them. We need someone to make the calls. And yes, sometimes they'll get it wrong. But we accept them. Same thing applies to our courts, and the Supreme Court in particular. You may disagree with Supreme Court rulings, as I do sometimes, but regardless, we need a final call and have to abide by their rulings. Complaining about rulings is one thing, but treating the court as if it's somehow illegitimate is a dark, dangerous road which many liberals appear to be paving. And on Friday, in a rare public appearance, the High Court's Chief Justice, John Roberts, spoke out about it.
The court has always decided controversial cases. The decisions have always been subject to intense criticism, and that is entirely appropriate. In fact, our members do a great job of criticizing some opinions from time to time, but simply because people disagree with an opinion is not a basis for questioning the legitimacy of the court.
Except in particular, since Roe was overturned, advocates, many in the media, political leaders, have made it their mission to smear the court as illegitimate. Look, I disagreed with the Dobbs ruling, in particular as a legal matter, with its lack of respect for existing precedent. But that doesn't mean I'm going to call the court illegitimate. This is the same court that rejected efforts by Donald Trump to have them step in and overturn the election. That was the right call. If they're illegitimate, why should anyone accept their rulings? With illegitimacy comes chaos and potentially constitutional crises, and I won't support anything like that.
If the court doesn't retain its legitimate function of interpreting the Constitution, I'm not sure who would take up that mantle. You don't want the political branches telling you what the law is, and you don't want public opinion to be the guide of what the appropriate decision is.
Justice Roberts sends out a warning message about ignoring the High Court's rulings. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms, your NRA certification of multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below, and if you like channel-like content and what I do, you can support the link. Everything's appreciated. And once again, gun-related channels are being scrutinized. If your comment disappears, I'm not doing it. If I remove it, I will tell you. Just realize that it's happening. Let's talk about this. And this comes at the turn of the year. Supreme Court Justice John Roberts sent out a message to all politicians that the court is getting tired of having their rulings ignored or challenged. I'm bringing you in here to give you a heads up on what he's talking about here. But Roberts warns against ignoring Supreme Court ruling as tension with Trump looms. Supreme Court Justice John Roberts slammed what he described as dangerous talk by some officials in ignoring federal court rulings using an annual report weeks before President-elect Donald Trump takes office, which is today, to stress the importance of an independent judiciary. Officials from across the political spectrum have raised the specter of open disregard for federal court rulings, Roberts wrote in the report released by the Supreme Court on Tuesday. This is going back to the beginning of the year. These dangerous suggestions, however sporadic, must be soundly rejected. Now, why I bring this up is because we have seen Supreme Court rulings ignored by lower courts, by states, and to go even further, municipalities and cities and so forth. Perfect example is when Bruen was released. New York put in the Concealed Carry Improvement Act. So they're like, okay, fine, Supreme Court, we have to issue permits to people, but we're going to restrict where they can be carried. And that Concealed Carry Act, literally, you could not leave your house with a gun. It was heinous, and it's going through the course now, and it is being struck down. But that's just one of many examples. We can go back to, which I have a story I did recently on Colorado trying to ban all firearms that take a magazine, semi-automatic. That flies in the face of D.C. Heller too. But it seems Colorado doesn't care about the fact that there's established precedent. They're going to push through forward anyway. Maryland's assault weapons ban which has been bouncing around the courts. The Fourth Circuit said that the Constitution does not protect the AR-15, even though Bruin clearly states that it does. And they're not the only ones. We can go back to Illinois' Protection of Illinois Communities Act, once again, which was an assault weapons ban at its core. That flies in the face of Bruin. But it seems that Roberts is having a problem with this, with their rulings being overturned, because that does not make them an independent judiciary. It's literally coming down to, we're going to ignore you when we don't get the rulings that we want. And it's not just guns. Remember, the Supreme Court told Biden that he could not do a rent moratorium during COVID. He had to end it. What did Biden do? He kept it going. The Supreme Court also told him, you cannot forgive student loan debt. What did he do? He forgave loans anyway. And it seems that this is going to come to a head because we have assault weapon ban cases going one sooner or later. We already have Snope versus Brown, which is in a certiorari phase where the Supreme Court's entertaining it. Okay, but what will happen if this case comes to the court says it's unconstitutional? Are we going to have states that are going to say, we don't care what the Supreme Court says concerning this issue, we're going to keep our ban in place? What recourse do we have if we're not going to abide by the High Court's ruling? Where do we go from there? That's the scary part. That's the scary part. So we should be concerned, just as Justice Roberts is, when it comes to this issue of politicians, states, what have you, ignoring their rulings. Their rulings are the law of the land when it comes to these issues. And if they make a ruling that can be ignored, then any ruling can be ignored. That's the part we should really, truly be worried about. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace.